Hey everybody, welcome back. So we're out here enjoying one of the last warm fall days before the snow really sets in out here, which I'm really looking forward to because we're going to have an opportunity to get some awesome wintertime wildlife photography in. So if that's something that you guys want to keep up with, make sure you get down, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment, all that cool stuff. Keep the algorithm happy. But today I want to invite you guys out to the field with me where we can hang out with some of the Yellowstone wolf packs today on Intrepid Photography. Do you have a natural fascination with nature? Then come along with us as we explore some magnificent landscapes and captivating wildlife. My name's Tim and I'm a nature and wildlife photographer based here in western Wyoming, also a guide at Grand Teton and Yellowstone National Parks. You're invited to join us as we dive into the diverse and unique ecosystems of the greater Yellowstone area here on Intrepid Photography. So right now we're on the north shore of Yellowstone Lake. This is the Mollie pack territory. You can see that these guys are all milling around. Something's going on. You can just barely see them over the scrubs. And it's really a pleasure to be able to sit out here in the open, in the wild with these animals and just watch them live their lives. Now the Mollie pack is the oldest pack and really considered in a lot of respects to be the strongest hunters out here. They're named after Mollie Beatty, who was instrumental in releasing and reintroducing the first wolves back into Yellowstone Park. You can see it's really cool to just sit here and watch the pack dynamics. Again, there's this elk carcass down there, and that bear is guarding it. He doesn't want anybody else to have any. It looks like at some point they had pulled another piece of it away, and they've got it stashed, 20, 30 meters away from where the bear's at. You can see this one wolf right here is going to town on whatever it was that they pulled away out there. But it's really a common sight to see anytime there's an animal down. All of the predators in range, they get on and the competition starts. One thing that you won't see out here in Yellowstone that you do see in places like Alaska is you don't see the bears out in the rivers fishing for trout and salmon. The food, it just isn't as abundant out here for them as it is up in Alaska. It's just another example of how, one thing impacts another thing, so there's a great deal of competition out here for prey. Pretty much all they've got to work with is the elk and the bison. And of course, bears have the benefit of being omnivores, so you will regularly see them, especially now getting ready for hibernation, out digging for voles and getting their hands on all of the berries and so forth that they can eat. But of course, anytime there's an opportunity for some protein, they're going to jump on it. Now this grizzly is being pretty tolerant, but when push comes to shove and it's time to fight for a meal, he's not going to hesitate. Kick them wolves right off of that carcass and do what he needs to do. And after some time sitting with these guys right here, he finally gets tired of messing with them and he decides to just pick the carcass up, take his ball and go home. And once he disappeared off into the wood line, it's hard to say what happened from there. Sometimes grizzlies will just camp out on that carcass, lay with it, sleep with it until it's gone, just like this one big boar did down the road from here a little ways. Managed to catch some really good video of him just camping out on this carcass. There was a couple different bears that were trying to get in on it, of course chasing off the birds, chasing off anybody that came up to him. So they're known to do that. A lot of times what they'll do is bury up the carcass in an effort to camouflage it and save it for later, and then they'll go off and then they'll come back later that day, later that evening and find it. So it's hard to say exactly what happened once they hit the wood line. Now we also had the good fortune to stumble across the Wapiti pack when we was up in Hayden Valley. These guys had just come off of a kill. Down by the river, had taken down an elk and apparently had eaten their fill and had retired up to this hillside. You can see most of them are up there in a food coma, just relaxing, a little bit of playing around amongst each other, a little bit of pack dynamics that you get to see. It's just so cool to be able to sit out here just in the field with these guys, having them walking right by you, staring you dead in the eye, acknowledging that you're there, and going on about their lives. This is a really unique place because, you know, these animals, they're not tame. It's not a petting zoo. They're still wild animals. They've still got this huge, massive wild habitat that they call home. But one thing that you'll notice here is that humans aren't a threat. Humans here in the park, we don't hunt these animals. They don't see us as a threat. Some people may think that's a bad thing, but there was a time when it was 250,000 wolves roaming the countryside, and the Native American tribes all lived out here and somehow managed to coexist with them. And this is something that really makes me think that what we experience out here in the park, where these animals know that we're not going to arbitrarily kill them, and they don't see us as a threat, they don't see us as a food source, then we get to have interactions like this, where they can be coming straight off of a kill, half the pack sitting right there in front of us, looking at us, essentially hanging out with us, and we just get to enjoy that moment with them. And unfortunately, that's not a view that's held everywhere outside of the park, but we do have the good fortune that we do have this one little area where nature is really kind of encapsulated, and the Parks Department has done a really good job of maintaining this as best that they can so that we can still come out here and appreciate these amazing animals like this. Now, like I said, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the gray wolves out here. There are some people that love them, and there's some people that absolutely hate them. There's a lot of different viewpoints, whether you're talking about conservation or preservation, or threats to humans or threats to livestock. And these are all things that need to be taken into consideration, and combine that with the environmental impacts that they have. You're going to hear a lot of talk of different environmental impacts that the wolves have had. Some people think that they're the absolute savior of Yellowstone and everything in it, and some people don't. Now, there's a lot of studies that we're going to go into in the future that I've read that really kind of takes a middle ground on that. But in the meantime, we're just going to spend some time sharing these experiences with folks and just letting you see what it's like to be able to be out in the wild with these animals and just be able to enjoy them being there. Human beings have this habit of pushing everything else out, and this is one place where certain human beings are pushing other humans back and giving these animals space to breathe and space to live and breed and go on about their lives. So it's a really, really cool spot, and I definitely encourage everybody that if you haven't been out here to Yellowstone, definitely plan it, spend some time out here. You know, you've got to spend at least 3 days, preferably 5-7 days, something like that. There's just so much to see out here and so much to experience. And I really think that a lot of people who may be either on the fence or don't really know enough to have a good opinion about these animals, maybe spending some time out here in their natural environment with them and finding out that they're not all just bloodthirsty killers, and that we actually can share the same space peacefully. Maybe that's a good thing to do. And like I said, I'm also a guide out here in Yellowstone and Grand Teton, so you guys are more than welcome to contact me. We can book you a tour out here, and you can come out with me personally, and I can take you to all these same spots where we're seeing these guys. Just understand that when we're out on tour, these are wild animals in a very large habitat, so there's no guarantee we're going to see everything, but there's always a guarantee that we're going to see something that you're not going to see anywhere else. So I hope you guys enjoyed the highlights from these last couple weeks out in Yellowstone. Like I said, get down, get subscribed to the channel, like the videos, comment, all that cool stuff if you want to see more. And we will see you guys next time on Intrepid Photography.